Joining me now, conservative author and columnist Ann Coulter. Ann, welcome to Water's World. It's glad to finally have you on the show.
Good to be here.
Let me ask you a question. You know, these Democratic mayors, they use these federal funds to buy votes, to, hand out pork and patronage. Are we naive to believe that, withholding a few $1 million is going to stop this out-of-control behavior? Because they'll just keep spending and spending and spending. You think more needs to be done?
A lot more federal funds could be withheld. Congress may need to pass a law to allow other federal funds to be withheld. There are certain categories of them that the Attorney General is able to withhold. But, I mean, the IRS used tax policy to dictate the dating policies at Bob Jones University. Oh no, the federal government can have a very big impact on not only private schools, but cities and towns. I mean, remember, it was Liddy Dole who changed the national speed limit to 55 miles an hour by threatening to give them highway funds. But the supremacy clause of the Constitution that says federal laws are supreme over state law, it's treated like a ratchet. So if it's a federal law liberals like, we shall have one national abortion law. Abortion will be legal. That must be enforced. Or the gay marriage ruling. By the way, these aren't laws. These are mere Supreme Court opinions. Down to, some poor little Kentucky clerk. The next day, they're demanding she issue the gay marriage license. But when it comes to things that are, by definition, laws that the federal government ought to be dealing with, immigration. I mean, you can't contain immigration to a single city or a single state. They can walk around. They can go from one town to the next to kill people. Of course, that's immigration, as the Supreme Court has ruled over and over again, and liberals reminded us with Arizona. Of course, immigration is a federal responsibility.
Could you imagine if the local jurisdictions disregarded federal law on guns? Or on abortion, or on drugs.
Tax law.
Or tax law. Imagine, we're going to collect the local and then the city and the state tax. We're not really going to hand over any federal taxes. I mean, the hell that would rain down on those cities and states would be unbelievable. But when Democrats do it in these precincts, it's noble. Total double standard. That's
actually, that's a great idea because I've noticed liberals never understand or pretend to never understand how corrupt their principles are until we turn around and apply it to them. I mean, we're seeing it right now with the rule on how many votes are needed to confirm a judge. Now suddenly, they're outraged that we might change it to 51 for the Supreme Court. Well, they changed it to 51 for every position except the Supreme Court. And sexual harassment laws under Bill Clinton. I mean, I defended cases where bosses would get in trouble for having a picture of their own wives wearing a bikini on their desks. That was considered sexual harassment. But Bill Clinton dropping his pants and saying, "Kiss it." Suddenly they realized perhaps we should roll back some of this sexual harassment law.
And your concept, because you're an attorney as well, tell me if this you think is going to work. What if they allow these wrongful death suits to go forward and say Kate Steinle's family sues the pants off San Francisco and Mayor Ed Lee, and some judge or some jury slaps the city with a judgment to the tune of, $10, $20, $30 million wrongful death? You think that's a possibility?
Yeah, actually, I've never heard anyone suggest that, but that seems like a great idea. I mean,
well, I have a brilliant legal mind. What can I say?
Yeah. New York City pays out tens of millions of dollars. You ought to look that up every year for,
the police brutality and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's government action, and they're just writing checks every day.
That's true.
Or, I don't know, every month.
That is true.
So, yeah, it seems to me the same principle applies.
All right, so I think we're on something. And Ann, I'm going to hold you over for the next segment because we're going to talk about how this Russia story could potentially backfire on the left.